It's me. It's me. It's a Cheez coming at you from House Money Fantasy. Once again here with TJB. TJ, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. Lineups are doing okay. We'll see how it goes. How about you?
Yeah, Jay Crowder can realize he's in the NBA. That'd be good for both of us. So
Good.
we're recording this. This is our slate breakdown for Tuesday, February 28th slate. We're recording this at 9:30 Eastern on Monday night, 27th. So we don't have all the injury news, but I'm going to bring you whatever I was able to dig up for the 6-game slate we have. And we're going to go game by game, starting with the first game of the Golden State Warriors in Washington taking the Wizards. Warriors favored by 6.5, and the total is at 229.5. DJ, who do you like in this one?
You want to start with the Golden State side or Washington side? You pick.
Yeah, we can start with away team Golden State.
To be honest, there's not that much I like on the Golden State side. I normally actually avoid playing Golden State guys when they're all healthy, just because they spread the ball around so much that they don't have that much upside. And I'm surprised they didn't actually rest Kevin Durant one more night tonight against Philadelphia. But anyways, the only guy I really like tomorrow is Kevin Durant. He's from the DC area, so there's some narrative right there. I didn't actually. You know what we should do, Cheesy? We should check his history against Washington.
Hey, I'm big on those home court returning home narratives. I like those.
Yeah.
So
All right.
actually, I didn't watch them, but
Last year in his lone game against Washington, he only played 16 minutes and 45 seconds. Okay, you got that? Put up 34 DK points
in 16 minutes.
Wow. In 16 minutes. So, yeah, number
That
right
sounds good.
there. I mean, obviously different role this year, but I think he's got the best matchup on the team. This is a bit of a pace down game actually for the Warriors. The implied total is right in line with their totals all season long. It's pretty much just an average matchup. So KD's price is down a little bit, I think, from his upside. So I'd take him here in his hometown against Washington. But other than that, there's not really much I'm on the Golden State side.
And who do you like from Washington?
Yeah, moving to the Washington side.
Probably more stuff here.
Yeah, definitely some more stuff in a pace-up game. I think John Wall's a fine play. What's his price? 10-3 on DraftKings. Obviously not the best price, but I think in a pace-up spot, you can play him here. The Wizards do have a higher team total above their average. The DVP matchup for point guards against Curry isn't too bad versus some of the other positions on the team. So I don't mind John Wall in this spot. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going to go with lineup construction yet, but he's looking like a solid play. Let's see if we can pull up his history. I don't think. They haven't played this year. Washington, Golden State. This will be their first game this year. So, but John Wall's been getting it done recently. If you look at the game logs, he's been a consistent player all year. I mean, his floor is like 4x, which is nice for cash games. Moving on from John Wall, there's really not much else, to be honest. I'm looking at, I guess Bradley Beal is a fine play if you want to pair him with John Wall, but Klay Thompson defense is tough, to be honest. So even in a pace-up spot, I don't know if I can go there with Bradley Beal. I'd probably stick to mostly John Wall in this game, but I do like that it's a close game here, so not really any blowout potential to worry about.
So in his new hometown and his new role in Washington.
No Bojan.
I was so upset. I was in the car. My brother texted. It's like one of the worst days. Man. Like it's tough. All right. So next up, we got the Trailblazers traveling to Detroit, taking on the Pistons. You got a total of 214.5, and the Pistons are favored by 5. Evan Turner out and questionable for the Trailblazers. So, DJ, who do you like in this matchup?
Well, we got to wait on that Festus Ezeli news. I mean, that's gonna change the whole slate.
Yeah.
Damian Lillard on the Portland side going against whoever Stan Van Gundy decides to roll out. If it's Reggie Jackson, obviously Reggie Jackson is one of the worst DRPMs in the league. He's a pretty terrible on-the-ball defender. And point guards have just been doing well against the Pistons all year long. It's a bit of a pace-down spot, total down spot, so I don't love it. But I think Damian Lillard can get it done here against Detroit. And his backcourt mate, CJ McCollum, is also in play at 7,100. It's a little bit tougher of a matchup for him. The Pistons have been actually pretty good against shooting guards. And Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is a pretty good on-ball defender, but I don't hate it here at his price. Let me just pull up his price real quick. He's 7,100, I believe. Yeah, on DraftKings. So, I mean, his upside is there. I mean, he's put up 40-point games. He's very capable of it. He put up 52.8 in the overtime game last time they faced Detroit. Let's actually see how Damian Lillard did in that one. Last game against Detroit, Damian Lillard put up 37.8 DraftKings points. So he actually struggled against Detroit while CJ McCollum had a good game. But I would expect that to turn around here. I prefer Damian Lillard to CJ McCollum. Yusuf Nurkic, DraftKings has already sucked out all the value out of Yusuf Nurkic. It bumped him all the way up to 5,800. I'm probably not playing him at this spot. I think the minutes are just not. I mean, he's not going to. His minutes aren't entirely secure. He doesn't get that many minutes yet, so I'm probably avoiding him here. I'm looking elsewhere on the Trailblazers. Alfred Aminu at 5,000. Let's pull up his game log here.
That sounds awful.
You don't like the Alfred? Yeah, it always sounds awful, but I mean, he's been playing well, dude. You look at his game logs. He's got 5x in, if you pull that up, he's got 5x in 9 straight. And his price dropped 400 from his last game. Like, I mean, he's just kind of too cheap at 5,000. Like, he's got the upside.
This is a weird thought process for Alfred Aminu too.
Yeah, no, it's because Evan Turner's been out, which has boosted his production for sure. And it's a good DVP matchup as a power forward, small forward too, against the Pistons. So I don't mind him here, actually. In all formats, I would be fine with him. And that about does it for the Detroit side there. I'm not looking to play like Ed Davis or anyone like that. Mo Harkless. I'm not playing Mo Harkless. All right, let's move to the Detroit side. Let me pull that up here. All right. Oh, this is going to be the nut spot for Andre Drummond here, isn't it? Oh, my God. So Portland has been just terrible against big men all year long. Like, they're one of the worst teams in rebounding differential. They can't protect the paint. They have Yusuf Nurkic in there now, so maybe that changes things a little bit. But, dude, Andre Drummond could just eat in this matchup. Like, the DVP is, I believe they're one of the worst teams against centers. Cheezi, do you have that up? Or Trailblazers against centers.
24th.
Yeah, 24th. Terrible rebounding differential, like I mentioned. I said they played already, so let's check. Let's pull up Andre Drummond against the Trailblazers here. Last game they played, 58.5. I mean, that was an overtime game. He did play 51 minutes, which is obviously a lot. He's probably definitely not going to repeat that. But I mean, 51.5 that's a nice number. I was actually all over him against the Celtics, and he didn't really get it done for me, which is kind of disappointing. He put up 39.8, which isn't terrible, but I was expecting more from him against the Celtics. But I mean, this spot is just as good as the Celtics, so I'm fine with Andre Drummond at 8,200. Moving down from there, let's see here. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is always a guy you can take a GPP shot on. Like, the dude just seems to go off randomly. I was on him a little bit the other night, didn't quite work out. The shots were there, though, I believe he took. Let's pull it up here against Boston. Actually, he did put up 33.3, so that's not bad. It's not great for tournament value, but that's not bad at all. He did take a bit of a price hike, $300, but this is a really positive matchup against CJ McCollum, who's not a very good on-ball defender. The team total is way up for Detroit here in the pace-up game. So, yeah, I don't mind taking a shot on CJ McCollum and GPPs. Can't play him in cash, but GPPs, he's definitely got the value. And then Reggie Jackson and Ish Smith. Let's see. I wanted to pull up their minutes from last game because I was on kind of both of them there against Isaiah Thomas. But it's just so tough to – Stan Van Gundy just switches up the minutes all the time. Okay, so against the Celtics, Reggie Jackson put up 33 DraftKings points in 33 minutes. And Ish Smith put up 13.5 in just 14. Yeah. Yeah, just 14 minutes. So it looks like for now Reggie Jackson has the starting point guard role, which is obviously great against Portland and Damian Lillard, who, just like CJ McCollum, is not a great on-ball defender. They've struggled against point guards all year. Pace up spot, total up spot. I don't mind Reggie Jackson at all. He's playing – this is at home, right?
Yes.
I believe this game is, or no, it's
It's in
Detroit. Yeah, Detroit's home. He's played a lot better at home this year. He's going to be a really, really nice GPP option, I think. The only scare is that Stan Van Gundy just switches up these point guard minutes all the time. So, but I don't mind him. Let's take a look at what's John Lure's price. 5,000 for John Lure. I don't hate John Lure, but I don't think you need to force him in there at 5,000. He's got decent projection against the Trailblazers because, like I said, they struggle with big men, rebounding differential, all that. But 5,000 is kind of a lot for a guy that doesn't really have that high of a ceiling. Let's pull up his game log here.
Yeah, he has 30. He's hit 33 times in the last 10.
Yeah, and he's had a couple of bad games in there too. 16 points last game against Boston, who was just as bad against big men, and he only played 25 minutes.
And he's capable of scoring 1.5 DraftKings points in 17 minutes.
Yeah, that's a possibility. So yeah, I'm not really on Lure at that price. I'd rather, if we're talking utility spot or something, I'd rather pay up to Reggie Jackson. If you want to take the ultimate GPP shot on Ish Smith at 4,500 and just gamble that Reggie Jackson gets benched and Ish Smith takes the minutes, then you can do that. He's going to have low ownership, I believe, after Reggie Jackson came out and played 33 minutes last game. But I think it's a fine tournament shot on Ish Smith if you really want to take it. It's kind of at 4,500. It's kind of hard to take that shot, but I don't hate it. I think that about does it for the Detroit side here. I don't really see much. Yeah, not much else down low or anything.
All right. So before we move on to our next game, which is Denver and Chicago, we were talking about Al Horford before we started. I just got an update from ESPN saying, "Hold me back," and I rate Al Horford has to be restrained by teammates after hard shove from Dwight Howard, who picks up tech. So,
did he? Who picked up the tech? Dwight Howard did.
What did he say? I don't know who picks up. I guess that means Dwight. Yeah.
I mean, Horford didn't get ejected, right? Because I have him in my tournament lineup.
No, don't see ejection. All right. So, all right, next we have Denver and Chicago. The total of 221, and the Bulls being favored by 3 points. You got Kenneth Faried out for the Nuggets, Zipser out for Chicago, and Michael Carter-Williams. Actually, maybe the second biggest injury question of this 6-game slate. He's questionable. So, TJ, who do you like in this one?
Let's start on the Denver side. We got to talk Nikola Jokic, man. I mean, his price just dropped to 8,900, dude, on DraftKings. I mean, he was 10-8 2 games ago against Brooklyn, and now he's 8,900 against Chicago. Man, we might have to be all over that. As much as I love Drummond, for 700 more, we can get Nikola Jokic in a decent. I mean, it's not a great spot against Chicago. The pace is down a little bit. The DVP matchup isn't fantastic. I know Chicago's actually. Yeah, I don't know, dude. He's struggled the last 3 games. He only got 19, 20.8, and 37.3. But I mean, he played limited minutes, basically in 2 of those. Brooklyn, he only played 14 minutes against Brooklyn because he got into foul trouble. But yeah, dude, like at 8,900, Chicago's a really good rebounding team. I know Denver's first, I believe, in rebounding differential, and Chicago's like second. So they could take some rebounds from him. But dude, at 8,900, like he's got the ceiling to just go. I mean, he can get you 65 DraftKings points easy. For 8,900, like I think you need to take that. I probably wouldn't play him in cash games just because he's been struggling, and Jokic is always susceptible to foul trouble, limited minutes, stuff like that. But I mean, last time he played Chicago earlier this year, I believe it was before he became Nikola Jokic. Yeah, it was very early in the season, midway through November. But he put up 26.5 DraftKings points in just 18 minutes when he was only 4,500, and he hit 5.9x value. So. If he plays 36 minutes, if we're just doubling that, I guess for it. But he's a completely different player now, so 52 and 36. Yeah. God, that's really cheap. Like I'm surprised he's that cheap. I think you just got to roll with him in tournaments. I think. That's what I'm saying here. What do you think, Cheezi? Especially without Faried.
It was February 8th, the last time he was priced in the 8,000 range.
Yeah, it's been a while. And that's when, everyone was saying then he's underpriced. Like, DraftKings got to raise him, and they finally did. And now he's back down.
Steph ties league record for most missed 3-pointers without a make, 0 for 11.
Wow. I had him in that Denver game when he went like 1 for 11. Yeah, I think you gotta play Nikola Jokic at 8,900. Like that's way too cheap. Moving down from there, Wilson Chandler. He gets. You know what? We should pull that up. How the team does without Kenneth Faried. Wilson Chandler gets the biggest bump if we look at DraftKings points per minute. He goes up plus 0.11 DK points per minute. Not really that much of a bump in usage, but it looks like he just gets more rebounds when Faried isn't in there. He plays more power forward, which anytime a small forward switches to power forward, the production normally goes up. So that's a really good spot for him at 6,600. I'm not sure if we can really pay that much for him. It's kind of expensive, but I think he's got a. I have him projected right now for just over 33 DraftKings points. I think that's fair. Let's pull up his game log here. Wilson Chandler. Yeah, he's been performing pretty well. I mean, let's see, 6 out of his last 7 games, he's hit 30 plus. And last time against Chicago, he put up 35.8 in 33 minutes. So yeah, I think that's a fair projection for him. I'm fine taking a shot on Wilson Chandler without kind of Faried in the lineup. And I normally stick to GPP only on Wilson Chandler, but the way he's been playing recently, and if he draws a start again, I think he's a solid play there, even in cash games. Moving down from there, I don't want to play Danilo Gallinari. I'd just rather pay up to Wilson Chandler. I'm not really on Gary Harris at 5,900. I don't think that's great. It's a positive DVP matchup for him, but 5,900 is kind of expensive. I don't normally play Gary Harris. I think that just about wraps it up for Denver. So definitely take a hard look at Wilson Chandler. And I mean, Jokic is almost like you definitely got to have some tournament exposure to Jokic, because if he goes off for 65 at that price, like it's going to win you some money for sure.
But you
let's move over to
don't
the Chicago
like Mason Plumlee with Kenneth Faried out? Yeah, of course. That probably. Well, this is like what is like third
he's
game
kind of.
here. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, he kind of just takes up the use. He kind of just takes some minutes when Nikola Jokic is off the floor, because he's like another playmaking center similar to Jokic. Let's check his game. Yeah,
I just remember watching that game that he had against the Nets, and he literally just picked them apart.
He went ham. Yeah, he went for 12 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists. Yeah, like I said, he's similar to Jokic.
Minutes or something.
Yep, 22 minutes. Well, I don't believe they play together. You know, we can pull that up. We can pull.
Yeah, probably not, because they're like the same player, but Mason Plumlee is like 3 levels below Jokic.
Yeah, I just want to pull it up and see. So when Jokic is on the court. Jeez, you just stall for a minute while I pull this up.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm just going to do this because the Devils just blew a 3-2 lead and lost in overtime, so I'm not wearing that hat anymore.
He's actually played 20, according to Rotogrinders, he's played 27 minutes with Jokic on the court. So that's, what is that, like 9 minutes a game? He only played 3 games there. So yeah, that could give him a bit of a boost with kind of Faried out. What's Mason Plumlee's price? I'm probably not paying 5.3 for him, but if you want to take the tournament shot, he's only going to get like max maybe 25 minutes. So I don't know if I want to go there, but if you want to take the tournament shot, I think it's fine. I don't know if we'll see that big of an increase just because Faried is out, but he's definitely got potential there. Let's take a look at Chicago side here. Obviously, real pace-up spot for Chicago. Their total is way up. What's the total? What's the total on this game, Cheezi?
We got 221.
221. Yeah, that's a really high scoring game for Chicago. I'll tell you that much. So, 30. Let's see here. Yeah, Jimmy Butler. He should be a pretty popular play, I think. I have him projected right now for 48 DraftKings points. Really good DVP spot for Jimmy Butler at that small forward position. He's going to draw some Gallinari, which Gallinari's got the length, but he's not a great defender. Wilson Chandler isn't that great of a defender either. He doesn't scare me at all. So I think this is a great spot for Jimmy Butler. Let's just pull up his performance last time against Denver here, and we'll see 55.8 in 39 minutes he played against Denver. So yeah, he's been playing well recently. He's gotten over 46 DraftKings points in his last 4. I think he's a good bet for cash and tournaments here at 9,300. I kind of mind him at all. He plays heavy minutes, so his floor is always there. Yeah, I don't mind Jimmy Butler at all. Looking at Dwayne Wade, not really a guy I play too often, to be honest. This is a nice matchup for Wade. Obviously, a nice matchup for all the Bulls in the pace-up spot. Their total implied team total is really high. They're favorites. It's just, let's pull up Dwayne Wade's game log here. He's been pretty volatile all season long. He's been playing well recently, but with the acquisition of Cameron Payne, I think we're going to see him play less point guard, which is where he was putting up some numbers, even though he did manage to get 10 assists last game. I think that's a bit of an anomaly. I don't love Dwayne Wade here at 7,500. I'd much rather play his teammate Butler, even in GPPs. All right, moving down. Then after that, it just falls off a cliff on Chicago, man. We're not playing Rajon Rondo. Hold on, we'll get there. Nikola Mirotic. Nikola Mirotic has actually been playing well. So this is where it gets hard to figure out is the power forward rotation in Chicago. Are we going to look with Taj Gibson gone? Are we going to look with Nikola Mirotic or to Bobby Portis? But so far, it's been Nikola Mirotic. He's put up 33.5 and 34.5 DraftKings points his last 2 games since Taj Gibson got traded. And he played 36 and 29 minutes in those games. So he's getting the minutes, and he's been playing really well. He's actually been a pretty good player all season long, as much as I rant on Nikola Mirotic pretty often because he makes some just stupid plays. But he's actually, overall, he hasn't been a bad player, actually. So I definitely don't mind if you're against Denver without Kenneth Faried. It's not a great DVP spot, but anyone against Denver is in a good spot, especially for these Bulls, and they're normally low team totals. This game is at home for the Bulls, where Nikola Mirotic has played a little bit better. Last time they faced Denver, he put up just 19.8, but he's got a much larger role now. So I don't mind him at all. We can look at Bobby Portis here, too. Let's pull up Bobby Portis. Robin Lopez, 4,400. You know what? Let's pull up Portis first, and then we'll look at Robin Lopez. Portis went down to 4,400. He was only 5,000. Or not only, he was 5,000 when I trade Taj Gibson, but since then he's only played 16 and 18 minutes, 19.8 and 12.8 DraftKings points in those 2 games. I'm probably not going to play him even at 4,400. I'd much rather pay up to Nikola Mirotic in this spot just because the minutes are much more secure for him, and he's only 600 more. So yeah, I'd rather put Nikola Mirotic in this spot than Bobby Portis. And who else we got to talk about?
Good.
What was that?
I think Lopez might be a
decent
option.
Lopez here. How's the Nuggets are?
Middle
I
of
believe they're above average in DVP. Yeah, middle pack. That's what you said. Yeah. Okay. So, Lopez is always a tough guy to predict, because he plays kind of crazy minutes sometimes. Sometimes you'll see him get up in mid-30s, but normally he's in the low 20s for minutes. Since Taj got traded, he put up 28.5 in that overtime game against Phoenix, but only 14.3 against Cleveland in 21 minutes the other day. Honestly, I think if we're taking a tournament shot here, I'd rather take a tournament shot on Portis over Robin Lopez. I think he's got more upside. But overall, the only Bulls I'm probably going to be playing is Jimmy Butler in all formats and some exposure to Nikola Mirotic in tournaments. Oh, we got to touch on Denzel Valentine, though, don't we? He's been playing
we could skip
bad.
that.
Yeah, I think we can skip Denzel Valentine.
I do think that's a slight issue that I've basically liked every single center. So I currently have a lineup with 4 centers, and it's
there's actually a lot of good center options on this slate. Surprisingly, normally that's a pretty thin position.
all right. So next we have the Jazz heading to Oklahoma City, take on the Thunder. The line's a pick 'em, so it should be a tight one. Total at 204. You got Oladipo as questionable and no injuries on Utah. So TJ, who do you like in this one?
Looking at the Utah side, there's not too much that I really like here. Gordon Hayward, I've been playing Gordon Hayward recently when he was down at 7,300. just because I thought the price was too cheap, and he paid off for a couple games, but he just hasn't been the same since he was like he's just been a volatile player all season long. Last game against OKC, he only put up 25.5 DraftKings points. Or excuse me. Sorry, they played twice. The first game he put up 25.5. Last game he put up 29 DraftKings points. But he's shown the ceiling recently. I mean, if you just pull up his game log, he's got a bunch of 40, 50 burger in there too. So I don't hate it for tournaments. But he's going to draw some Andre Roberson defense, and Andre Roberson's a real tough defender. So I'm probably not looking at Gordon Hayward. I haven't constructed a lineup yet. Apart from Gordon Hayward. Rudy Gobert on the Utah side. I like taking Rudy Gobert, obviously in really plus center matchups where he can grab rebounds, which I don't think he can do against Steven Adams. I took him the other day against Milwaukee. Yeah. Oh, I didn't have him against Washington. He had a great game against Washington. But tonight? Oh, last night. But Milwaukee put up 43.5. They have no bigs there, so obviously that was easy for him. But I mean, against OKC, he's kind of struggled this year. 33.3 last game. 38 the game before that. That's not really going to – 38 doesn't kill you, but it's not really getting it done. So I'm not looking to play Gobert here. George Hill, I think George Hill is kind of an interesting option for GPPs against Russell Westbrook. We've talked about all year how you can attack Russell Westbrook with point guards just because he exerts so much energy on the offensive side that he really hasn't been a great defender this year. And we saw it. Oh, no, George Hill missed. Oh, he played last game against OKC. He only put up 19, which is a little bit concerning. But he's had some good games recently. In the last, 5 games here, he's had 4 with at least 5x. 37 point DraftKings performance. Like I said, positive matchup for him. They get a bit of a pace up here against Russell Westbrook and Thunder. So, yeah, I don't mind him. He's actually played better on the road this year, which is interesting. But, yeah, I don't mind George Hill for tournaments. But other than that, I'm really not looking to much else on this Utah team. Yeah, that's it for the Utah side. Russell Westbrook and the other scrubs on the Thunder. Let's pull that up here. All right. So this was the game I remember early on in the year. It was kind of like when Russell Westbrook was just destroying every night. And it was basically like, I mean, he still is destroying every night, but at the beginning of the year, it was basically like you just played him every night, and then came the game against Utah. And it was like, is he matchup proof? Do we play Russell Westbrook here? And he kind of killed people because he only put up 42.5 DK points that game. But he bounced back last game against Utah and put up 78.5. I think Russell Westbrook is matchup proof, especially in a game at home where he can dictate the pace a little bit more. He's played better at home, averaged 8 more DraftKings points at home. I think he's actually fine. 12-1 isn't that big of – it's not the normal Utah discount that we're used to with other players. 12-1 is still kind of expensive for Westbrook. But the guy's amazing. Like, he's going to stuff the box score no matter what. I have him projected right now for 63 DraftKings points. I think that's a fair projection there. He's really been playing well recently. He scored 70 plus in, let's see here, 6 of his last 7 against Washington, where it was a blowout. He put in only limited minutes. But yeah, so I'm fine with Russell Westbrook here against Utah. I wouldn't play him in cash. Actually, his usage is so high that you can play him in all formats, but I prefer him in tournaments. Moving down from there is probably not much else. You mentioned Victor Oladipo is questionable, right?
Yeah, questionable.
Cheezi? Cheezi?
Yeah, you hear me?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, he's still questionable.
Okay, yeah, I almost got screwed by that last game because he was like doubtful. So I factored that in, then he got upgraded to game time decision. But if Victor Oladipo is ruled out, this is a great spot for Westbrook because Alex Abrinas gets a start. Alex Abrinas shoots, I believe, something like 85% of his field goals come off assists. So he's a real catch and shoot player, which when we see it when he's on the court, Russell Westbrook averages like 3 more assists per 36 minutes. It's a real assist bump for him. I mean, the last 2 games he's shown it. He got 17 points or 17 assists the first game he started against the Lakers. Abrinas started, and 11 assists last game against New Orleans. So That's a real big boost for him if Victor Oladipo is out and he gets a bit of a usage boost just because Victor Oladipo eats into his usage a little bit. But other than that, there's not. Andre Roberson actually gets a decent bump, but I'm not playing Andre Roberson against the Jazz. So, yeah, that about covers the OKC side there. They honestly didn't discount these guys that much, which normally we get the big discount against Utah, but not for Golden State, I guess.
All right. So the next game we have are the Phoenix Suns heading to Memphis, taking on the Grizzlies. Total of this game is at 211. The Grizzlies are favored by 10. Dragon Bender is the only injury I have down. He's out. And before I give it over to you, TJ, I just want to give a shout out to Brandon Knight at 3,500 and Chandler Parsons at 3,400. I know why they're so cheap because they're barely playing, but those guys are good at basketball, so I'm going to use them in GPP.
Yeah, I don't hate him at what was their price? Is Brandon Knight 3,500? Yeah, there he is.
35 and 34 for Parsons.
I especially don't hate Parsons at all in a pace-up game against the Suns. But hold on, we'll get to that when we get to Memphis side. Let's talk Phoenix first. They gave them the price decrease here. Yeah, they got the decrease that OKC didn't against the Jazz. So I don't play guys against Memphis. I'm not playing Eric Bledsoe. I'm not playing Devin Booker. Value on Phoenix. I think Alex Len has been drawing the starts recently. Let's pull up his game log here, and he's only 4K. Like, all right, here we go. So he drew the start the last 2 games. The first time he played 34 minutes. The second time he only played 14. I'll have to go back and watch some film there, see what happened against Milwaukee. But last game against Memphis, he did put up 22.8. Like, I don't hate him as a GPP shot, but that's probably about it. Honestly, on the who's Alan Williams? Cheezi, I haven't looked into this guy at all, to be honest. Have you looked into Alan Williams at all?
Who?
I'll have to go back and watch this game. Yeah, he's a center on the Suns. He played 33 minutes last game against Milwaukee. Put up 48.8 DraftKings points. He's 4,100. I'll be honest, I have not looked into this guy at all. I'm going to have to do some research on him. But as of right now, I'd prefer Alex Len to him in the center rotation. But definitely take a look into Alan Williams. I'll have to see why he played so many minutes there. No, Brandon Knight.
Alan Williams?
Yeah, we're not playing Brandon Knight. Alan Williams.
He used to be on the Nets. And he was
No, I think you're thinking of someone else.
Oh, this is a different
Wasn't
Alan Williams?
Wasn't there a shooting guard? Wasn't there a
different
shooting
Alan
guard?
Williams.
Oh, he played earlier in the year too. Alan Williams against Indiana Pacers, and holy dude, this guy played earlier in the year against Indiana and Philadelphia. He had played 25 and 23 minutes in those games. His DraftKings points totals 42.3 and 38.8. Wow.
Who is?
And he played
so random.
He played against Chicago the other couple weeks ago. He played 23 minutes and put up 37.3 DraftKings points. Hold on, I need to just pull up this guy's. I need to see his points per minute here. It seems ridiculous. I'm sorry, guys. I did not. I was not on this play at all. But yeah, definitely.
This guy.
I'm gonna go back and look at it and see what's going on there with Alan Williams. He's averaging 1.2 DraftKings points per minute. That's the same as Eric Bledsoe. All right. I guess let's move to Memphis side here, and hopefully we can look more into this tomorrow about what to do with Alan Williams here. All right. Memphis side, this is a great spot against Phoenix. These teams have played a couple times already this season, so we can look. We got some sample size here, so let's pull up first Mike Conley. Obviously a great matchup against Eric Bledsoe and the Suns. Big pace-up spot. Oh, you know what? Give me 1 second here, Cheezi. For some reason, I don't have the Vegas total on this game. What was the total on this game again?
211. So while you're doing your little stuff, I played, but I looked at Rudy Gobert's game log. 8 of 9 games, 12 plus rebounds.
Really?
So
yeah, he's been getting double-doubles recently.
Yeah, I'm a little upset you weren't as interested in him. He's in my load-up center lineup that I have going.
Give me 1 second. Actually, what did you say that? Sorry, I don't have this Vegas total. What was the total on that Memphis game again?
It is 211 with the Grizzlies favored by 10.
211 with the Grizzlies favored by 10. So that gives them 110.5. Let's put that in. All right. Yeah, I don't hate Rudy Gobert. It's just not a great against Steven Adams there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, back to the Grizzlies here. So Mike Conley, they get a huge bump in team total here, the highest on the slate by far, tied with who was it earlier we discussed. There's a lot of teams that get a big bump on team total here. Detroit gets a decent one. Anyways, so yeah, Mike Conley. Let's pull this up here. So yeah, great pace up spot. I have him projected right now for 35 DraftKings points, which I think is definitely a little low. If we look at his history against Eric Bledsoe and the Suns this season, 4.5 last game, so that'd be in line with his projection. But the game before that, dude, 65.5. That was in Phoenix. That's quite the game. 38 real life points, 7 made threes, 9 assists. So the upside is there against any time a team plays Phoenix. They're super fast paced. They're like the Brooklyn Nets, but a little bit better. As in they play super fast pace, no defensive efficiency at all. So yeah, I definitely don't mind Mike Conley here, and Marc Gasol either. Williams, I guess, or maybe some Alex Len. It's a good DVP matchup. Like I said, huge bump in pace and team total. I have him projected around 37, so a little bit more than Conley here. But let's pull up his history. I know he's done well against Phoenix, or actually he hasn't, surprisingly. 30.8 last game, and the game before that just 35. He did play kind of limited minutes in the first one, just 28 minutes, but not great history. I think Conley has more upside just from a GPP perspective, but I trust Marc Gasol a little bit more for cash. He seems to always be that consistent player there. Let's see who else here. Moving down the line here. Zach Randolph. We'll get to Parsons. We got to talk old man Zach Randolph first. 5,600 for Zach Randolph. He's not going to get you to start. He comes off the bench. Phoenix, he didn't miss the last game against Phoenix, but the first game against Phoenix, put 27.5. That's not bad for cash games. He's actually been, despite coming off the bench, he gets his consistent minutes. He's been pretty consistent for cash games. I don't hate him. Hate him for cash games here, and he usually goes lower owned in tournaments, a little bit under owned. So I don't mind. Zach Randolph as a play there. I'm not playing Tony Allen. Not really any interest in JaMychal Green either. We can talk about your boy Chandler Parsons down here.
Well, I don't have much to say. I just think he's a good basketball player, and
yeah, he's been dealing with injuries all year. That's the problem. Let's see, his price is
his price has been in the 3,000s for at least.
Yeah, he's playing 20 minutes a game. Over his last 4, he's really struggled. Just 6.3, 14.3, and 15.3. So he's really struggling over his last 4. But his last game against Phoenix, in 24 minutes, he put up 26.3 DraftKings points. He's shown the ceiling a couple times this year. I think he's definitely capable of it. I know a lot of the sharp guys are always on Chandler Parsons, just waiting for that train to finally take off because, he's a talented player that just has been held back by injuries. He started off the year as a 6K player. So yeah, the talent is there. It's just that the minutes and the injury issues. But I'm always okay with taking a GPP shot on Chandler Parsons. There. So I think that let me take one more look here. I think that about covers it for the Memphis side.
No love for Deonta Davis?
No love for Deonta Davis.
Who are these people?
Actually, I have. Give me 1 second. I have Tony Douglas projected really high. I just want to pull up his. I remember last time. Yeah, that was last game against Phoenix. I don't know if I believe it was. Yeah, it was against Phoenix. Tony Douglas,
20.75.
No, he got into an altercation with. There was a little dispute between. I think he was talking trash with Devin Booker.
Ooh.
And Devin Booker came out Devin Booker after the game said that's what happens when you're just a role player or something. Something like
God.
that.
We got a revenge narrative.
We got a narrative here. I think it was Tony Douglas. Hold up, let's pull this up, Cheezi. We definitely gotta pull this up. Because if there's revenge narrative here, I'm all over it. Tony Douglas. I might be wrong. Might have been. Oh, you know what? It might have been Troy Daniels. Might have been Troy Daniels, Devin Booker, or something like that. Let's pull that
When
up.
I type in Douglas versus Booker, I'm getting historical figures.
Oh, it's okay. It's Troy Daniels. Devin Booker slams Memphis guard Troy Daniels for trash talking. Is he still with the team? I honestly don't know. I don't think he's with the team anymore.
Troy
Got sent down
Daniels.
Here's Troy Daniels, actually.
He is on the Memphis Grizzlies.
Let's pull up his game log. How do you do against? Well, first let's talk about Tony Douglas at 3K. Up 23 last game against Memphis. He plays around 20 minutes a night. I don't hate it. I don't hate Tony Douglas if you really need the value in a GPP lineup. But we definitely got to pull up Troy Daniels. We got to talk the narrative here. How do you do against Memphis? 20.8 last time against Memphis in 21 minutes, which looks like his highest minute total in a while. I'd have to go back and check if there's any injuries in that game, but if we can project him for 20 minutes in a revenge game here against Devin Booker, I don't hate that for tournaments either. But now we're getting real low in the prices here. So let's move on to the next game, Cheezi.
All right, last game. It only took us forever. We have the Charlotte Hornets heading to the Staples Center to possibly see The Rock, who randomly makes appearances there, and the Lakers. We got a team total of this game is 216. Hornets favored by 3.5. Miles Plumlee and Ramon Sessions are both out. Cody Zeller still questionable, and nothing on the Lakers of note. So, TJ, what do you got?
This is a late hammer, man. So 2.5 hours start, or 2.5 hours after the game before it. So yeah, Cody Zeller is the biggest injury news to monitor here. It really affects Frank Kaminsky value. Oh, they bumped up Frank Kaminsky finally. Really affects his value. If Zeller's in the lineup, obviously you can't play him then. But let's start off with Kemba Walker against the Lakers. Like obviously we know it's dream matchup for point guards. The Lakers, just like the Suns, are completely inefficient defense. Play at a fast pace. Nice total bump here for Charlotte. It's in LA, which isn't great for Kemba Walker, but right now I have him projected at 43 points. I think that's a fair projection for him. He has actually closed. You know, people always talk about the home road splits for Kemba. They haven't been as bad this season. And he's been kind of. I probably wouldn't trust him for cash, even though he might be a popular cash game option. Obviously, like I said, I haven't made a build yet, but he's been getting it done recently. 5x in 4 of his last 5, at least 5x, 6x, 7x, and a couple of those. He was kind of on a cold streak before that, but that's what Kemba does. He's a streaky player. He put up 55 DraftKings points last time they faced the Lakers. He played 41 minutes in that game, so I have to look into that and see if someone was out or something. But he put up 26 shots. Wow. So yeah, if he can repeat that performance, you're definitely going to be happy at this 8,300 price tag. But moving down from there, Nick Batum. I'd prefer Kemba to Nick Batum. I think Nick Batum's just a little too expensive at this point. Let's see. Maybe he was out last game against the Lakers. Maybe that's why. I'm not sure. Let's pull that up. Against the Lakers last time. Oh, he wasn't. He also put up 46.8 in 37 minutes. Got 10 assists in that one. So this is a nice spot for him. It's a nice spot for virtually everyone facing the Lakers. So I don't even mind it. If you want to go full Charlotte stack here, go with the late game hammer. I mean, you can keep it going. You can put in Kemba Walker, obviously Nick Batum, Frank Kaminsky, who is bumped up now all the way to 6,900. But I don't even hate that if Zeller's ruled out. Yeah, if Zeller's ruled out. In this spot against LA, who is the worst defense versus big men. I know Frank Kaminsky doesn't play completely like a center, even though he'd be starting at center because he plays a little bit more outside. But I mean, they have no paint protection. They can't rebound. Like, this is a great spot for Frank Kaminsky, and even more than that, Marvin Williams. I mean, they've bumped up Frank Kaminsky while Cody Zeller has been out, but they didn't bump up Marvin Williams for this matchup against the Lakers. So if we pull up his game log here, he is just as good as matchup as Frank Kaminsky. He put up 24.8. That's him against the Lakers, which, I mean, it's not going to be – that's cash game value. That's cash game value for you. But he's been killing it. 3 out of the last 4 games, he's got 25-plus DraftKings points. He's playing crazy high minutes, dude. I mean, some of these are overtime games, but he's played 38, 40, 36, 39 minutes in his last 4. I don't mind him at all. He did not get a price bump against the Lakers, which we normally see for big men. So that's a really nice price at 4,700. I think that's too cheap. And even if Cody Zeller comes back for this one, he's only 4,700 too. And if we can get he's without a minutes limit, like that's a great play at 4,700, I think. And then Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, I'm probably not playing here. He's not a guy I normally play just because he can't. Yeah, he's not a good offensive player. You kind of just need to rely on him. He's like a glorified Andre Roberson. It's kind of I wrote this in the article the other day with Andre Roberson. You play him, you don't watch the game, and you just hope he can somehow just grind his way to value. So yeah, I think that about covers it for the Charlotte side here. Let's take one more look.
No love for min price Brian Roberts.
Oh, Brian Roberts.
I remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember how he ended up doing that. Wasn't that against the Nets or something?
Probably.
Was that against the Nets?
I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, he plays like 12 minutes a night. Like, we can't play Brian Roberts. I think I'm trying to remember what game that was. So we played him. I don't remember when it was. Yeah, we can't play Brian Roberts. How's Jeremy Lamb's minutes looking? Let's pull that up here. If Jeremy Lamb gets minutes, dude, he averages like over a DraftKings points per minute. Oh, he put up 30. He played 36 minutes, and it was an overtime game, but 36 minutes last game against the Clippers. I'll have to look into that for sure. Not entire. I don't know who was out for that game, but we'll have to look more into that. See why he played 36 minutes there, and if he's going to get those minutes again, right now I have him projected for just 19. But if he can get heavy minutes like that, that guy has an ultimate ceiling. Like I said, averages over DraftKings points per minute this season, and obviously great matchup against the Lakers. Let's move on to LA side of the ball here and wrap this podcast up. Give me 1 second while I pull that up. Let's see here.
Quick shout out to min price Meta World Peace.
Thanks for that Meta World Peace shout out.
He has played one game since.
Wow, that is not good. He's like a worse version of Paul Pierce. All right, D'Angelo Russell. I'm not playing him for 6,500. I think that's a little too expensive. I know people are saying he was too cheap at 5,500 because he's got the ceiling. I mean, you look at his game log. He put up a 50.5, 36 before that against Phoenix, 40.5 against Boston, 48.3 against Washington, 51.3 against Denver. Obviously, those are all good matchups. The matchup against Kemba Walker and the Hornets is just okay. It's not great. All of this game is just pretty average for D'Angelo Russell in terms of pace and team total and all that. So I'm not going to pay the 6,500 for him. His minutes are always, you never know what they're going to do with his minutes there. So I'm not looking at D'Angelo Russell. Moving down from there though, Julius Randle. Is he turning around yet? I know he was stinking it up. No, he hasn't been that, dude. He just hasn't been good. Like, he has over his last 8 games, he has 3 with 5x. More than that, over his last 10, he's got 3 with 5x. And his price hasn't come down. He's 5,700. Like, they just haven't lowered his price. They have lowered his price when he was 7K, but over the past couple weeks, they just haven't lowered his price. I'm not playing him at 5,700, even against Frank Kaminsky and Marvin Williams, who obviously aren't great defenders. Let's see, is there anyone else I want to really look to on the Lakers here, Cheezi? We can talk some Nick Young,
who's been terrible
Swaggy
lately.
P at 3,900. Yeah, he's been not good. Let's pull his game log up. But I mean, before he was one of the most efficient scorers this season. Like you said, he's been terrible. But
1 for 9 against the Thunder. 2 for 10, 3 for 10.
Yeah, 1 for 9. Look at it. This is his field goal percentage from the last 4 games: 38%, 11%, 20%, 30%. And before that, he had 173% game where he put up 40.5 DraftKings points. Then let's keep going. Before that one, he put up 33%, 36%. That's the Swaggy P we're used to, man. Not the Swaggy P that was leading the shooting guard position in true shooting percentage, but If he can return the form he was playing at earlier this year, even against Charlotte last game, up 28.5 DraftKings points. If he can repeat that at 4K, you're going to be happy. That's 7x value. The ceiling is definitely there. I mean, look at his game log. He's got a couple 30-point games. The 40.5 one not too long ago, a couple weeks ago now, actually. He's been playing poorly, but the only concern here is the Lakers are starting to play some of their young guys like Brandon Ingram more. And then
That's what I was just gonna say.
just like 20 minutes.
Brandon Ingram's played 35 plus minutes and break, and he hit 6x in both of them. Still only 4,200.
Yeah, that's probably the play over. I mean, Nick Young's 3,900. You can pay 300 more for Brandon Ingram and get all the minutes in the world. Like, the guy isn't good at basketball yet, I don't think, but his price hasn't come up since the All-Star break. Oh, yeah, he's the next Kevin Durant. I don't know. I'm not willing to write him off just yet, but he hasn't looked great. And even those games, I mean, one of those was against the San Antonio Spurs. He put up Kawhi Leonard, he put up 25.5 DraftKings points. So it's a tough matchup, though, against Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, who's a really solid defender. But, I mean, the minutes are there, and the minutes are the highest correlation to fantasy points. So I'm fine with Brandon Ingram a tournament shot at 4,200. And I actually don't – I think you might be able to trust Brandon Ingram in cash at this point. Like, if he's playing 35-plus minutes and he's 4,200, it's kind of hard not to play that in cash. But other than that, there's nothing else I'm looking to on this Lakers team. I think Charlotte's the team to stack here on the slate. And that's about it here, Cheezi.
Anything I want to add? Bullion. Okay. So this week on the House Money Fantasy, you have Charles. He just put up a golf article which breaking down the course history, stuff you should know before we you hear Kevin and Rob's video breaking down the slate itself. And should see more of TJ and I in some sort of capacity, probably another slate breakdown, another shenanigans podcast. All this stuff can be found at our YouTube channel, House Money Fantasy Sports, and housemoneyfantasy.com. And TJ, you have anything else you want to add to that?
I'm not going to lie. I had no idea Charles was putting up an article. I'll definitely check out that golf article.
Said that like an hour ago.
All right. You guys can follow me on Twitter at TJ_Brashears. That's BRASHEARS. It was fun doing the show with you, Cheezi, and hopefully we can get back at it again, if not tomorrow, later this week.
That's all I got for you guys. Hope win some money, listen to us, and I'll see you next time.